Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Roster United, episode 24. And today, X-Men United has arrived at my house. We finally have it. All 9 boxes, full of characters, full of villains, full of new challenges. And even though today we might not be going through every single box, or every single character, but we are going to go and I'm going to talk about just what really caught my eye, just scrolling through some of the characters, scrolling through some of the new abilities, the challenges, the locations, things I've noticed that are new. And yeah, that's basically what we're going to be doing for this episode. Basically, the point of this episode is to give you a little taste of what we're going to be doing in the future and what you guys, the Roster United fans, are going to be listening in the next few episodes. So I generally cannot wait for all of you to enjoy the podcasts. And of course, if you have X-Men United, I can't wait till you get to play that. And if you have, and if you enjoy it, I'm very happy for you. If you have any problems with the game, you can always tell me. And if you have any questions, maybe I can help you out. Who knows? Because, again, I might forget a few things, and I might not be the best at explaining some things. Obviously, you guys know that. But what better way to explain something in a podcast? So, let us do this. Let us talk about X-Men United. The brand new CMON Spin Master hit board game. Alright, so let's talk about the boxes, the expansions. As we know, there are 9 boxes. And those are just expansions. That's not including the core box. Those are 9 boxes of expansions that contains more than 80 plus characters and more than 30 villains. Personally, for me, that really caught my attention while going through these. I've been slowly just unboxing all the characters. I've slowly been trying to look at the challenges because I want to take my time. This is something that I like. And of course, since I do a podcast about the game, I want to take my time and review all the characters, review all the new stuff. But there's so many new things, so many new little rules for some of the challenges that I just did not have time to read. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff here. But the boxes are amazing. I like the artwork, first of all. Just flat out, great artwork. And just scrolling through them, it's amazing. It's amazing. The miniatures are so much better than the original Marvel United. They've really seen what is good in their miniatures and just made them better. As well as their card quality and their token quality, cardboard quality. It's all been very well. It's a little better than the original. And yeah, it's just amazing. So quality, artwork, beautiful. The boxes are great. For example, you have the Deadpool expansion, which was the first expansion I opened up. There you contain basically 3 different types of Deadpool. You get a Deadpool challenge, you get a Deadpool as a hero, and a Deadpool as a villain. And how the Deadpool villain works, obviously we're not going to go in depth here, but just how he works. He has a big dashboard and a lot of, breaking the fourth wall kind of stuff. And it really fits the theme. It really fits how Deadpool is, as a jokester. The merc with the mouth. And that's who he literally is in the game. So very thematic-wise. Not just on that box, but also on other boxes. For example, you have the Fantastic Four box. And just scrolling through some of the characters, I've seen that those main 5 characters of the Fantastic Four help each other out and give each other tokens that they can use, and just it's really interesting how they work together. I just wonder are they good? Are they still as good as the Fantastic Four, but with other characters teaming up? I just wonder about that. There's just so many cool combinations too to do. I'm very excited. But the Fantastic Four box seemed very intriguing to me. The Deadpool box, of course, looks very fun. But there's also the box with the Days of Future Past, which I've had the opportunity to play a couple of games against the Sentinels, and Nimrod. And then I had the chance to play a game with the Sentinels Challenge mode with the X-Force villain Starfly. I think Starfly? Something like that. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. I'll probably tell you a little later. But, man, just playing just that one box in that one challenge mode, it was fun. My father really enjoyed it. My brother even enjoyed it as well. Even though he's not a huge Marvel United fan as I am, he still enjoyed it. He had a great time, and so did I. I loved the Sentinels, and they're huge pieces, and they're pretty heavy too. Not super heavy, you know. We're not talking 50 pounds here, but you know, they're more heavier than their normal miniatures, and I like that. That is fine with me. Another cool box before we move on to the next section is that there is also the X-Force box as well that really caught my eye. Those 4 characters are not big hitters, but they are attackive. They are aggressive, I should say. They are very aggressive. Their abilities, just everything, and just that whole box too. That villain is really tough. The heroes are really good. That box also seemed very intriguing to me. And the box also contains Domino and Cable, some 2 well-known characters, as well as Boom, and Cannonball. So it's very interesting, but I really like the X-Force box, especially since I've also had the chance to play with Shatterstar, one of the heroes, as well as Domino. She was really powerful and really fun to play as. So let's move on to the next segment. We kind of already talked about this because we talked about the expansions. Now it's the characters. And obviously, as I said before, we're not going to go in depth with any characters today. But there are a lot of characters, which means that there are more unique duos, trios, and squads. And yeah, you might be thinking, well, just with the X-Men United characters, there is a lot to play, and there is, trust me, there is. But what's cool about, well, the United franchise is that you can play with a character from the original Marvel United box, for example, Spider-Man. You can combine him with Deadpool. You can combine him with Sasquatch, or Guardian, or Thor, with Colossus. You know, all these characters just blend into each other. It's one big roster of characters, and all you have to do is choose 2, 3, 4 characters and see what happens. That's the very fun of the game, is choosing these duos and trios. And now that, well, in Marvel United you had about 57, 58 characters. Now with X-Men United, you're adding more than 80. So you do the math there. That's about, that's about 130, 130 heroes total. So imagine that. There is just so many combinations. And the reason why the combinations are so important is because there is a new challenge mode called Blue Team and Gold Team. Basically there, you and your friends can pick a character, and you can literally go on in a 2v2 game or in a 3v3 game. And if you actually had physical players controlling every single hero or a villain, you can have up to 7 physical players playing the game. Yes, meaning you can have 3 real players, in one team and the other three players in another, and you can even have another player being the villain. And basically, it's just a competition to see who can finish defeating a certain number of thugs and civilians, and who can clear the most threats, as well as who can defeat the villain first. It's really cool. It's such a cool expansion, such a cool challenge, and that is why now, in my point of view of Marvel United, is that now I want to focus more on those duos and those trios, just focus on who would be a good matchup for your team and why, right? Why are they a good two-team player? Why are they a good three-team player? And just go off of that. So that is going to be really fun. So many characters, so many new abilities as well. I've noticed abilities that don't affect your turn then, but they affect your turn in the future. So meaning that if you're down to your last card and you need to draw, but you can't, there is one of the abilities where you can flip that special ability card that lets you basically draw a card or skip the draw a card phase on your turn. It's interesting. It's interesting. Flipping cards in the storyline, turning them face down or face up, changes everything. Everything lets you reuse your abilities without exchanging a card from your hand to the one in the storyline. It's really interesting, and I'm intrigued by it because a lot of characters that I've seen so far have that ability, and I think that's kind of the new X-Men. I think that's kind of the new United thing in this box, and I'm really enjoying it, and I can see why some characters can be maybe overpowered. Maybe some characters are just really good, better than a lot of others. And, obviously I did my top 58 Marvel United characters, but that's going to change fast. That's going to change really fast, because even though Marvel United has some very tough characters, for example, Spider-Man, I think he's a really good character, or even, what's his name, or even Doctor Strange, or man, even Adam Warlock, right? Really good characters, Beta Ray Bill even, really good characters that have been in the top of my list for the last year. They may go all the way to the bottom because X-Men United characters are not overpowered than Marvel United characters. They're not. They just have more ability cards. And maybe the abilities for Marvel United characters are better than the X-Men United characters, but the X-Men United characters have more abilities, 6, like, lately, I did a little character sheet here, and it says that, 3 out of 5 of the characters that I've put so far in my character sheet here have more than 5 special cards. So, there's a lot of special cards here. The minimum, the average is 4, but a lot of characters have more than 4. They have 5, they have 6, sometimes they have their whole hand full of power cards, like Silver Surfer does, for example, or what's his name? Nightcrawler. And, they're not overpowered. I guess they could be overpowered, but I think there's some good combinations with the X-Men and the original Marvel United characters. There's got to be some connection. And of course, obviously, since I'm doing a podcast about the United franchise, I am obviously going to search through those. It might take me a few months. It might take me a whole year. Who knows? But I will give you the full intel on the characters. I will give you the full intel on everything that you need. Really. Anything you need. I am here to give you that intel. Let's move on now to the villains, because the heroes, again, really fun. But what about the villains? Well, they feel, honestly, new. They feel like, they feel just new. It feels fresh. It feels new in a way that feels the same. You know, new stuff, new challenge, no, not challenges, but just new villainous plots, new ways to play the villain. Now you can even be the villain. And it's just amazing. And not just the ability to play as the villains or anything like that, because now you can even go in depth with the villains and strategize on how every villain can be. But just the villains, just who you're gonna play, right? Now you have to spin a wheel if you want to choose randomly who you're gonna play. Because if you want to choose exactly who, it's gonna take you a while. Because you don't just have that the Phoenix 5 box that contains 5 villains and 1 hero. Kind of reminds me of the Sinister 6 expansion. But you also have the big box, which is, just to tell you, 2 inches thicker than the 2 inches thicker than the Marvel United big box. So imagine how big that is. The X-Men United big box has, like, I don't know if it's doubled, but it adds like 20 more characters. And yeah, there's a lot. So choosing all those villains, obviously more than 30, plus the 20, 27 villains from the original set. You're going to have so many options to choose, and it's just going to be a delight, really. I mean, obviously, I'm just going to choose randomly. I might go off of an order of expansions, you know, but man, there's just so much villains to play, and it's just, again, super fun. Can't wait to play against all of them, really. And, you know, a lot of the villains are hard. Like, I've noticed, like, they're a little bit more challenging, but yet change the game in a way that is still enjoyable. You know, it's hard. The game is hard. It's challenging. Even without the challenges, it's challenging. Don't get me wrong about that. It's challenging. You gotta strategize, obviously. But the villains are even more challenging in the X-Men United expansions. Now, not crazy challenging. Like, not in a way where they're unbeatable. No. They just feel like it goes to the last round kind of thing. Like I don't really know. Like, you gotta last them to the final round of the match, basically, and then you can get them. And that's fine with me. That is fine with me. The gameplay time is still less than 30 minutes, so that is fine with me. It's more head-to-toe, not head-to-toe, toe-to-toe kind of matchups now, where you really don't know, even if it seems like you're winning, you could lose in 2 villain rounds, in 2 villain cards, or in a round, or, however you say it. You can lose in the next villain card. You can win if everything goes right, which can happen. Hardly happens to me, but it can happen. And man, it's just the challenge is fun. And again, I played with my brother as well, and he's not as old as I am. Obviously, you've heard him before. And and he liked it. He's a little guy, and he liked the game. Even though it was challenging, he accepted the challenge, and he wanted to continue on. And we played 2 games, which was really fun and challenging. Really challenging. And always make sure to focus on the villain dashboard, because again, every villain changes some of the rules. For example, we played against the X-Force villain in that box, and one of his thing was to defeat a thug, you must deal 2 damage instead of 1. And that changed a lot of our game. Not only the strategy, obviously, but just in general. Like, we were forgetting that one rule. And yeah, we forgot about that one rule. And that really, that led us to an easier victory. But if we follow that rule, it would have not been that. It would have probably not have been a happy ending. So, yeah, always make sure you pay attention to the villain dashboard and to the new rules, and just keep glancing at it, keep reading the dashboard just so you can understand and yet not forget, because it's easy to forget, especially since you're entertained, you're focusing on what your teammates are doing, focusing on what the villain is doing, and you're just planning not on your turn but on future turns and all that fun stuff. And you can focus, and you can not excuse me, you can focus on the gameplay and not on the dashboard. So just a little hint there for you. But yeah, the villains are fine. They are amazing, and again, new challenge, new challenges, it's a little harder, which is fine for me. And again, the characters really fun. Now let's move on to the challenges. And as you know, I'm not a huge fan of the challenges. Like, I'm not I'm not one of those guys that has to play a game with a challenge. I am not one of those kind of players, but that might change really soon, because X-Men United has so many crazy challenges. Like, for example, the Sentinels, and depending on your symbols, the Sentinels are going to do something. They can move one closer to you, they can hit a hero in their location, they can pick up a hero and hit them. And, oh my gosh, they are really hard. And that just, their challenge is incredibly hard, and we still managed we managed to win, but we had a perfect squad that didn't allow the Sentinels to do anything with the wild symbols. But if we didn't have that kind of squad, if we had a different squad that doesn't have that many wilds, the Sentinels would have killed us. So the Sentinels challenge really keeps you on your toes, like really keeps you on your toes. And the Sentinels challenge, for example, very fun. The other challenge is also the 2v2 3v3 challenge, which is kind of the new thing that I've been looking forward to. Really takes the combination of characters, their combos and their way of playing, into a whole new way, into a cooler way. And I like that a lot. That challenge is going to be phenomenal, and yeah, it's going to be fantastic. And I think we're even going to have a segment on that, I'm thinking, like its own segment about the 2v2, 3v3 thing, just talking about if this character is perfect for a 2-player team or for a 3-player team, things like that. And we're going to be doing a segment on that. Just that. Like, literally, just that. It's going to be fun. Not only just that, not just the teams, but you also have the Deadpool challenge as well. That adds really just crazy stuff to locations. It could affect the villains. It could affect your team, just crazy stuff. I read some of the cards. If I remember correctly, the Deadpool challenge mode lets you if something triggers the Deadpool challenge and you have to draw a card from the challenge deck, and it can say something like at the end of every hero's turn they must move one space to the right or something like that, or something bad sometimes too, like they must discard a card. If you can't, you're KO'd or something like that, something crazy. So it's really interesting. I really like it, and the Deadpool challenge seems very fun as well. But overall, I have to say, that the challenges are great, and there's just so many other challenges as well. I just didn't have time to tell you all of them, because I don't want this to be such a long episode. But there is lots of challenges, and I promise you we will be talking more about these challenges sooner or later. So everything seems great about the set. look forward to mixing the X-Men United and Marvel United characters together, as well as just mixing the X-Men characters together, making whole kinds of combos and stuff. The game, like I've said before, it takes less than 30 minutes as well. But I did take a long time unboxing the boxes. It took about an hour just unboxing everything, and then scrolling through the cards, scrolling through the characters and the miniatures. That took probably another hour or two. And yeah, I mean, that is it for the X-Men United set. Kind of went through everything. Obviously, not everything, but everything. Kind of went through all the categories. We didn't go in depth with all the categories, but, we scrolled through them. And you might be thinking, well, now that X-Men United is here, what does that mean for Roster United, for the podcast? What does that mean for not just me, but for those listening? Well, next week, we will be doing a podcast, going in depth with some heroes, but we're going to change it up a bit. Usually when I do an in-depth character episode, I usually go in depth with 3 or 4 characters in the same episode. We're actually going to change that. We are going to go in depth 1 character at a time. Yes, 1 character at a time, and the reason for that is because I can release more little episodes throughout the week, talking about and really giving you an in-depth review on that character. Really giving you my true opinion without worrying about finishing under 30 or 40 minutes or moving on to the next character. There I can just focus 15 minutes, maybe less, maybe more, on that character, give you the whole view, the whole 360 view on that character, and it's going to be fun. And so yeah, 1 at a time, 1 character at a time. We're going to start. I might be filming a few characters today that will be released next week. I might be reviewing some characters next week, and and sending it to the podcast, uploading it to an official episode the next week after that. So yeah, we're going to be going in depth with every every X-Men United character 1 at a time. So that's going to be very fun. So some episodes might be 5 to 10 minutes long, maybe a bit more. It just depends on the character. Also, since the blue team, gold team has the 2v2 and 3v3, we will be doing a segment about that. That will be called, just for now, it's called the United Draft. We will probably change that. But, since you're making a team, you're drafting to see who you're going to get and who would you get, So, yeah, it's going to be fun. That segment is usually going to happen after every single review on a character, right? We're going to review a character, talk about their stats, talk about their abilities, talking about just what types of characters they are, how many symbol counts do they have, how many 2 symbol cards do they contain, some new changes, and just stuff like that. And then right after that, we will be doing the segment, the United Draft, and there we will be talking about some of the characters that, is this character that we're reviewing today, is that character good in a 2-player team or in a 3-player team? Or even if you're in, or even, and this is going to focus only on the gold and blue team challenge mode. So, yes, only on those 2 teams, on those 2 challenges, and we're just going to see how well are they, right? Because it's very interesting, fascinating, and that's what we're going to be doing after every review on the character. So, a brand new segment. That's going to be fun. Anyway, other than that, ladies and gentlemen, we are really just fired up, ready to examine all these boxes, to examine all these characters and villains and challenges, and it's just going to be really exciting, and all these new segments, and obviously reviewing characters. We haven't done that in a while. Reviewing characters, that's kind of the big thing, the big purpose of this podcast is to do, and we're going to do this, and we're going to be doing this for the next 2 years, 3 years, really. It's going to take us such a long time to give you the 360 review on every character, on everything in the game. Then after that, retire. Retire, Marvel United. But for now, or Roster United, excuse me. But for now, we're going to stay here. We're going to stay tuned. We're going to go through every single hero, and we're going to go through every single hero, like I said before, one by one. New segments when we talk about these characters. We're going to also talk about them in a 2v2, in a 3v3, called United Draft, and it's going to be fun. New segments, new stuff. It's going to be fantastic. One more thing before I go, is that I sent a message. I sent a message here to one of the designers of Marvel United X-Men, actually, to be more specific. I sent a little email there through Board Game Geek, and I said this, and I won't say everything that I said here, but I'll just give you a little recap. I said, "Hello, it is an honor to send you this message. I'm happy that you made X-Men United. I like, obviously I said that, I like the abilities, I like all the new changes and stuff." Later on, I said that, I hope you can make a new United game, like DC or Star Wars or even more Marvel. I love this game, and I hope to continue playing it. Then after that, I, said the goodbyes and moved on. A few hours later, I got a response from the designer saying that he really appreciates those nice words for his game. He says that we're lucky, being designers in board games, something that they love. And he went on about that, which was really nice to see that he likes his job he likes his job. And then he said this. He said, as of the future of United, well, the more successful the current game will become, the better are the odds. And then he did a wink emoji. And then he said, so thank you for sharing knowledge and appreciation for the game for the most people possible. It surely helps. So very nice words, obviously. But what was interesting is that he said, well, the more successful the current game will become, the better are the odds. Obviously, he doesn't know exactly... he doesn't obviously know exactly that they're making more United characters or United pledges or games. But he said that if the game becomes popular, becomes big, which it already is... the better are the odds to make a new United game. Now, he didn't tell me specifically what type of United game there will be. Will there be a DC? Will there be a Star Wars? I don't know yet. And he doesn't know yet, but he did that little wink emoji at the end. So I'm kind of like, well, CMON might have something in their back pocket to do another United game. But obviously, this game needs to get a little bit more popular. And that's not the reason I do this podcast. The reason is because I like it. I enjoy it. And for those who enjoy it but don't have the time to review every character, that was the main purpose, was to talk to you about that character, talk to you about the things. But now, of course, it's changed throughout the last couple of months. But it was just interesting. It was really nice talking to the designer. It was interesting that he told me those nice things, and that he appreciates it. Obviously, that's always a great thing. And it was interesting that he told me that hopefully we can get the better of the odds with a wink emoji at the end to get a brand new United game. But there is still so much to talk about with just X-Men United. And so, next week, obviously, we will be doing more episodes. We will be talking more about characters and all that fun stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a fantastic day. I know I had fun talking here. I hope you had fun listening, and I hope you're excited to talk and listen to these, talk and listen and go in depth with these characters, with these villains, with these challenge modes. And obviously my father seems more invested in the podcast, wants to keep on doing it with me, and I'm so glad that he's with me and he wants to, even though he is a busy man. But I'm still just super excited that he takes some time to do some of the episodes. So hopefully sooner or later he can come with us, he can join with us and be a main part of Roster United. But until then, I will be continuing going through some of the characters with you, one by one, going through some of the cool stuff, everything. It's going to be fun, and I'm going to be busy. I'm going to be really busy. And yeah, I think that's all the announcements I have. Oh no, I have one more announcement. I forgot. Last week, if I'm correct, is Roster United Day. How about that? Roster United Day. That is so amazing. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Oh my goodness. And excuse me, not last Wednesday, not last week. Excuse me. My brain. I'm so sorry. I meant next week. Yes, next week. Actually 2 weeks. Then the 12th of April, or excuse me, the 12th of May is when we release the first ever episode of Roster United. 1 full year, ladies and gentlemen. 1 full year of Roster United. I'm so excited. I'm happy that for those of you who have stayed with me for that 1 year. And of course, I'm happy for those who have joined throughout the year to listen to the podcast. I'm very happy that you all did that. But I still can't believe it. A whole year has passed since Roster United has first started. And we have made close to 50 episodes. So I'm very excited of that. And I hope we can continue on moving forward, right? Moving forward. That is the main purpose. Moving forward. Continuing talking about this game that I love, that I'm very interested in, and talking to it about you, to you all. No matter if you're in the car, at home, whatever, wherever you're listening, Spotify, Google Podcasts, anywhere, Google Podcasts and just podcasts and what's that app called? There's an app on the apples, on the tablets, right? There's an app just called Podcasts. You can even listen to us there as well. So there's just so many ways to enjoy Roster United wherever you are and wherever you listen. And I hope you can continue doing that to listen to these amazing characters and to this really, really fun game. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Roster United, and I am your host, Ethan, and I hope you have a fantastic